how Covid-19 was eradicated from the world. Good morning, my name is Lina. I am a reporter this time. I will tell you about what Covid-19 was and the fight to eradicate it from the planet. The coronavirus, later named by the WHO as COVID-19, was a deadly virus that was initially detected in the city of Wuhan, China. At the end of 2019, the virus was discovered by the country's doctors and authorities after learning that in different markets and squares in the city sold animals for food. The authorities and the doctors were able to deduce that in the squares that were in the open field they did not take the necessary sanitary measures in that these animals would consume transmitted a kind of virus. People began to get sick and to have respiratory complications. The medical authorities had to investigate what was happening to people in Wuhan, and after a study they discovered that it was a highly dangerous virus and especially contagious. The virus could be one of the worst cases of disease in the world. After a time, the numbers of contagions by coronavirus began to increase considerably in the city of Wuhan, for which the authorities of this country decided to take action to prevent the spread of the virus. The authorities entered a period of health emergency and decided that everyone should enter a period of quarantine and social isolation should be met. During this time, the authorities and the doctors in charge imposed some recommendations in order to reduce or mitigate the contagions by COVID-19. The mandatory use of masks and alcohol was necessary so that infection could be avoided. After a few days, the virus became stronger and claimed its first life. The first cases of death of COVID-19 was known in 2020, and it was a 61-year-old man. The virus seemed to be gaining strength and becoming more and more dangerous for society and the world. Concerned people decided to evacuate the place that was the focus of the virus and decided to go from Wuhan to other nearby places where the virus had not yet arrived. Many people went to other countries with the hope that in those places there was no risk. What people ignore is that the virus had asymptomatic characteristics and after 15 days complications occurred. So many people were unaware that it was infected, and when they left the countries, they spread the virus throughout the world. The virus was no longer alone in Wuhan, but severe cases were now found in the city of China and also in others. The cases increased again, and likewise the deaths throughout China and different countries beat COVID-19. Concern about the handling that had been given to the virus. The WHO declared the virus a pandemic and enforced the governments of the different countries to adopt measures to avoid the infection and stop the COVID-19. The governments of each country very concerned and adopt their own security protocols. They realized that the virus had entered through airports and decided to close all air, land, and sea routes. The means of transportation were the main routes through which the virus entered the different countries. The people having traveled to different parts of the world ignored that they were infected by COVID-19, spread the virus throughout the globe. Quarantine and social distancing were imposed in most countries affected by the virus. The way of life of families changed completely. The authorities of each country entered health emergencies and paused different sectors of the economy, forcing people to stay at home and work from home. Many people lost their jobs. Several companies closed, went bankrupt, colleges and universities, and several places also closed. Everything had to be done from home during the quarantine time. Shopping centers, restaurants, squares were also closed because it was not possible to go to places that would house more than 500 people to avoid the spread of the virus. The means of transportation were inactive buses, trains, subways, cars, and others could not transit of the street. Concerned about the situation of the large number of people killed with COVID-19, scientists and doctors worked hard for several years to find a treatment or cure or to eradicate the virus. During the 2020 and 2050, people have to learn how to live with the virus with following the security protocols imposed by governments. Everyone must fully follow these rules. It seems that the economy was stagnant and the war had stopped. There were no trips. There was no war, much less social life. The doctor and scientists finally, after many tests and examination, found in 2035 a possible cure and decided to propagate in individuals with COVID-19 to examine what result obtained. When the deaths began after a rigorous study of the patients, an improvement was observed and the first time people saw a ray of hope. The situation was improving and the cases were less thanks to the treatment. Motivated by this, the doctors did not decide to stop. If not the contrary, continue working to find a cure and finally eradicated the virus that was causing so much damage. Finally, in 2038, a way was found to improve treatment and it was decided to do the same again and treat the new drugs in people with COVID-19. The results were positive and people seemed to recover. In the year 2040, the treatment was removed as a cure and shared with the world. The cases decreased and disappeared completely. The virus was totally eradicated in 2015 and life returned to normal. The COVID-19 and coronavirus was a pandemic that claimed many lives throughout the world, which generated many negative aspects. But thanks to the hard work of the authorities and doctors around the world, it was eradicated in 2015. Thanks.